Your affirmation helps your children believe they are smart, capable, and able to achieve whatever they set their good minds to. It's not so much what we believe about them, it's what they believe we believe about them. I said, you know, remember tomorrow is the Great Dad Seminar. And he says, I know, Dad. And I said, man, I hope it's good. And he looked at me and he said, it's going to be good. You have to think that and it will be. I'm Keith Zafran, founder of the Great Dads Project and author of the book, How to Become a Great Dad, no matter what kind of father you had. I lead a seminar for men called The Father's Blessing, the lifelong impact a dad has on his children. Flying here, we got in late Wednesday night, and my 10-year-old Kai, there was a little girl, a 2-year-old behind us in the seat right behind us, crying and crying and crying. You know how some kids do that on the plane? And so finally, my little 10-year-old, who was just full of personality and joy, pops up from the seat right in front of her. He pops up, turns around, and says, boo. And she went, ah! And so he hit himself, and he popped up again, boo. And he popped down on either side, and he's just having the ball. And she's laughing and giggling, and he completely changed how everyone on the plane was experiencing this little girl. And her parents kept looking at me saying, thank you, thank you. You know? And he loved it. He was delightful. And after they played for a little while, he started talking to them about, they said, well, where are you going? And he told them about vacation. But then he said, you know, well, my dad's going to speak at this seminar. He's going to teach dads about being a great dad. And, you know, they said, really? You know, it's, oh, yeah, yeah. And he wrote this great book, and he's telling me about it. He's, you know, he's doing all his PR on the plane, you know. And it was so sweet. The mom said, wow, well, I'll bet your dad must be a pretty good dad then. And Kai said, oh, yeah, he's the greatest. And I'm just like, oh, man, I'll pay you later, kid. You know? The seminar is about training men to give their blessing to their children. A blessing that consists of affirmation, acceptance, and affection. I spent more than 30 years of my life being a wounded son. I became a dad, and I would say I was a bewildered new dad for several years. I really didn't know what to do. I have spent thousands of hours on reading, research, practice, talking to other dads, being mentored, learning about what it means, and practicing for 14 years on my kids. And I think I can honestly say today I am an effective and very fulfilled father. And I am dedicating the second half of my life to helping other men get that kind of satisfaction from being a dad as well. Affirmation refers to verbal or written words of specific praise regarding your children's character. Your affirmation of your children builds in them the belief that they can. Acceptance. Acceptance speaks to your unconditional and unending, those are key words, unconditional. It's not based on anything other than the fact that this is your daughter or your son. Blessing your children means an unending and unconditional acceptance of them as people and as your child, no matter what. Affection applies to both spoken and physical expressions of love, tenderness, warmth, and care. You may demonstrate affection a bit differently for boys and girls at times, particularly as they mature. But your physical and spoken affection is critical to the healthy development of children. I want to help dads give to their children what perhaps they didn't get from their own dads. That wonderful sense of well-being, that sense that they are loved, that dad is proud of them, that they wouldn't want another child in the world besides the children they have. Did you want to be like your dad when you were little? Even those of us who had bad dads, still want to be like them. Boys do that. Boys try to figure out what it means to be a man by looking at their dad. And they learn that from dad. I began to understand that this hunger in large part was about this longing for my dad, this wishing for a relationship, this cry that all children have to hear their dad say, "Hey, I love you. I am proud of you. You're doing great." I never got that from my dad, and I hungered for it, even as an adult. If dads come to this seminar, they'll learn some really practical tools to use with their kids on how to give that affirmation, how to show acceptance, how to demonstrate affection in ways that will make that stick for their kids.
I think the seminar is really great because it did such a great job of articulating and describing a vision for a father that I know I want to be. And it also gives you the tools and a very clear path on how to achieve that vision. So I'm really excited to go back home to my two girls and put some of those tools and practices to use, and hopefully get to that point where I can be the father I want to be.
One of the things that he touched on that I have a heightened sense of wanting to know more about is to how to give what you didn't get from a father, maybe that was absentee for periods of time throughout my upbringing as a child, and not to make those same or repeat those same type characteristics or habits with my own children now as a father of two.
The written affirmations is probably the biggest thing. These little things of, yes, Daddy is thinking about you, that I do care about you, because a lot of times I'm gone. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
15 days broken into 2 phases that build on each other. First phase, 5 days, I call it the high five. This is what you're supposed to do. For 5 days, for 5 minutes every day, spend time with each of your children, primarily listening, trying to enter into their world, making it about them, giving as little evaluation or critique as is humanly fatherly possible. The point is not to make it a teachable moment. The point is not to invest your values and your beliefs or to guide and direct. The point of this challenge is to give your blessing. If you miss a day, you take the wristband off, transfer it to your other wrist, and you start over. 5 days in a row. When you get 5 days down, go out and celebrate with your children. Second phase, call it the hang 10. 10 days, 10 minutes, same drill, but expand the time. Listen, get them to talk, enter into their world with them, wherever that world is. Even if you disapprove, you can still show your acceptance by listening. And at the end of those 10 minutes, give a verbal affirmation while showing some acceptance and demonstrating some affection. That's the Great Dad Challenge. Make sense? So if you want to accept the Great Dad Challenge, I'm just going to ask you to put it on one wrist and to stand with me for a moment. Kind of raise the hand that has your Great Dad Challenge wristband on it and repeat after me. I accept the Great Dad Challenge.
I accept the Great Dad Challenge.
I will affirm my children every day while showing acceptance and demonstrating affection. So be it.
I'm definitely going to take the Great Dad Challenge to spend consecutive time with them, 5 days. I think it's 5 days, 5 minutes to bless them and affirm them and listen to them and celebrate. And then I think it's 10 days with 10 minutes. So I'm going to definitely do that for 15 days and really see how that will, I think it'll really change our behavior and how they interact with me.
Come learn something, cry a little bit, realize what you've been missing or what your children have been missing. And you will leave changed.
I hope you'll think about coming. I'd love to have you. We'll see you soon.